Melissa Morrow with Vintage Bee Design, and today we're going to take you through 3 quick thrift flips. And I hope you enjoy the process. If you love what you're seeing, we hope that you will subscribe to our channel. And if you want to try these yourself, we sell the products at vintagebeedesign.com.
So let's move right into the first project. Here I have some little boxes basically that were made from leftover materials. I have a drawer where the side table that it was in actually broke. And then I have another box that was made from scrap wood. I am just using my Ryobi. This is sort of like a little mouse, I guess is what you call it. And I'm giving everything a nice light sand. This one, the drawer inside, had some ook in it and I wanted to be sure it was clean. So I give everything a good sand and then give it all a good wipe down. And I have these feet that are from another broken table at the staging business, and I am cutting them into much smaller little feet so that I can use them on these boxes. So I'm basically just cutting them into segments, and I'll be using these on a variety of different projects. Once I have the sizes that I want for the boxes, I am just going to go ahead and add some wood glue, and then I will secure these with brad nails, which you'll see in a minute.
About you I like. You're crazy for saying I should slow down, but maybe I'm escaping the love we found. There's something about you, something.
I haven't put out an edited video in about a week and a lot of things have happened. One thing, John and I celebrated our 33rd wedding anniversary, so I thought I'd share some of the fun pictures of where we started. Our family has grown quite a lot over the years. We started out as high school sweethearts, and now we have 3 beautiful children, each with their loves, and then 3 beautiful grandchildren from my son and his wife. And we are just loving life right now and the happiness that family brings. I love you, John. It's been a wonderful 33 years. Okay, and now that that sappiness is over, let's get to painting. Today I'm going to be using Dixie Belle, and I really wanted to kind of coordinate this in a fall way with the leftover sunflower transfers that I had. We had just had a class, and we opened up some of the new Dixie Belle sunflower transfers, so I'm working on kind of painting up these boxes in yellow, and then I'm going to do a very easy coarse blend as I do, nothing super fancy. I am just adding a little bit. So this was actually done, I believe, in Colonel Mustard, and then the light was lemonade, and you can see just a little bit of misting. And I'm still using the original brush. I did not change brushes. So when I put the paint just on the tip and then do the top and then I push down with a little more force on the bottom, it really blends it out, especially when you've misted it. I'm going to go around the whole, all the sides of both boxes this way. And I'm also going to paint the top rim, which you'll see in the finished product. Then I'm adding some scrap Dixie Belle Transfers, and I can't wait to show you the reveal on this. I think it came out pretty cool.
Many nights I got too high and almost left town, but there's something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk and too scared.
So let me know in the comments what you think about this project. How do you think it came out? Do you love the color combination? And what about the sunflower transfers? Okay, on to project number 2. For this, I have a used cutting board that we got for free in one of the houses that Sue cleaned out. She didn't pay anything to clean up the house. It was just her labor, and we got all of the contents in it. And so some of these items were free from that haul. I'm just giving it a good sand to make sure that anything that's yucky is taken off of there. I'm using 220 grit sandpaper and just really cleaning it up. Next, I'm going to take this old shelf that I found somewhere in the warehouse, and I am going to attach it to the cutting board. Kind of what I'm going to basically do is turn this cutting board into a shelf with some hooks, and I'm going to use this little shelf to actually make the shelf part of it. So I'm just measuring out to make sure that it will be level when it is hung. So I'm going to measure this out, and then I'm going to use my brad nailer to attach it, but this is making sure that that is at the exact same point on the cutting board. This shelf was very rough, the paint job was, and so I am giving it a light sand as well, so that when I go to paint it later, that it will have a nice smooth finish. Then it's time for some wood glue, and then my brad nailer again, and this will be all locked up.
If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better. Nobody loves me better.
So another big thing that happened this week is our middle child, Paige Ashley, she turned 30. I can't believe she's 30 years old. She is also married to her high school sweetheart, Johnny Ray, and I'm so happy for them. I hate that she lives in Atlanta, but she is at least with her sister Lily. So happy birthday, Paige Ashley. I love you so much. And so back to the project. I am using DIY's paint in vintage linen, and I'm going to give everything top to bottom 2 good coats, and then I am going to use some 220 grit sandpaper and lightly sand. DIY paint does do very well with a wet distress, however, I personally do not. Next up, I get to do my favorite part, which is stenciling. I am just going to do the fresh fruit pies part of this. I am not going to actually do the pie there. I'm going to add something else in that place. It would be a little tight to add that pie. I want to be sure I'm under the hole at the top. So I am using one of my JRV stencil brushes. And this time I am actually using Dixie Belle's Silk in the color Anchor, which is the basic black. I like this because I don't have to do anything afterwards. It has a primer, paint, and top coat built in, so it makes it perfect for stenciling, and best yet, it's water-based, so it is still easy to clean up. Now on the bottom part of the shelf, I'm actually going to go ahead and stencil bakery and the words that are under bakery, and again, I'm leaving the pie part of it off, and so you'll see how that comes out.
Drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious.
So I'm going to give you a tip that is more of a do what I say, not as I do. And that is, you should never actually be putting your brushes directly into your materials. So if you are painting, you should not be dipping your brush into the paint in the jar. You should be pouring some out of the jar and into a bowl or a dish and painting from there. And sometimes you'll see me do that because I'm starting to move all of my paints into either FIFO bottles or condiment bottles. And for waxes and things, it's different. We tend to just work right out of the jar. And I'm going to show you here in a couple of minutes why you should still take the wax out of your jar and not work directly from the bottle or the contents.
So now I'm going to go ahead and start giving my entire piece a nice wax. I am using Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in clear. It's what I had on the shelf, easy to get to. And anyway, so I'm just giving it all a good solid wax coat. Next up, I don't want this quite as pristine white, so I am using my Best Dang Wax in clear and some DIY's dust. And decrepit dirt, that's what it's called. We have Dixie Belle's dust and DIY's decrepit dirt. This happens to be decrepit dirt. And I am just sort of dipping my brush into the wax and then dipping it into the dirt, and then I am sort of pushing it around. And as you can see, it creates a really nice look of it being aged and distressed. And so I'm just kind of going to go through this whole area, and my goal here was to really kind of work just around this shelf and then a little bit around the words. And as you'll see in a minute, my plan went horribly off kilter. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh yeah, here it comes. So I'm showing you how I'm going to do it over the words. Everything is going really well. I'm loving how everything is turning out. And then if you watch me, I lose my momentum and I take my dust and put it in the wax instead of the other way around.
I get too drunk and too scared and lie to don't get around, but there's something about you, something about you I like, about you I like. You're crazy for saying I should slow down, but maybe I'm escaping the...
This is where Sue and I love to say, we make mistakes, so you don't have to. Sometimes it's very much listen to the words that come out of the mouth and don't do what you see the hands doing. Sometimes they get into old habits that are not good habits, and we really want to teach you how to do things the right way, which sometimes isn't how we actually do them.
Love we found, there's something about you, something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better, nobody loves me better, nobody loves me better. Guess I'm just too scared to settle down. There'd be many nights I got too high and almost left town, but there's something...
Did anybody else find that stressful, wondering how that was going to come out? It was a hot mess. Tell me, did you think that it was going to recover? How do you like the end product? Would love to hear your feedback.
Right, so that was a total mess, but you can see that even though I screwed up big time, it still was a good recovery. It's still a lovely project. That clear wax is your friend. It's always good to have clear waxed first, and then you can use it to remove excess when things go terribly wrong. So wrong. So I am not gonna lie, this next idea I got directly from Julie's Designs and Signs. The only real difference is that mine is orientated horizontal and hers was more vertical.
These 3 blue boards I actually picked up on the side of the road. We were finishing up with our house that we were getting ready to sell, and I saw them sitting there, threw them in the back of my truck. My husband is like, we do not need any more junk in the garage. And I'm like, no, wait, I have a project for these. I promise they'll be gone this week. All I'm doing is really trimming the ends off and making sure that they fit properly. And before I paint this mug rack or coat rack, I want to be sure that I have the expansion the correct way so it's easier to paint and I don't have scraping. So I'm just using my brad nailer and the length of my board to make sure that these are positioned in the correct width.
I do love the way mine came out. I was fortunate that I did not have to paint my boards. They actually were exactly that way. The mug shelf itself, I do wish that I had spray painted it. While I love using DIY paint and many of the other paints that we carry, this would have been so much easier, so much faster, and so much better had I just whipped out a can of spray paint.
Okay, now I'm actually going to secure the boards to the rack, and to do this I'm going to use my brad nailer. Got this on fast speed, but you can tell I'm hitting every joint. Next I'm going to use my Dremel to drill small pilot holes where I'm going to be adding some heavy duty wood screws. You could absolutely use a drill for this. I happen to like my Dremel and it saves me the time of having to switch out the tips between the tools.
I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better, nobody loves me better. Too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better, yeah. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed what I put out. And if you want to see more like this, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to share this with your friends. And if you haven't already, join our creative group, Creating the Hive, on Facebook. And I'll see you there.
And there was one more important event that happened this week in our family. My husband has been trying for a long time to get his black belt in karate. So here he is doing his forms and his final black belt test. And congratulations, John, you earned it.
Nobody told me to settle down. Day nights and late nights don't keep